Wonderful. Shabbat shalom. It's strange that when you stream to YouTube, it automatically starts the video that you're recording, but it also does it with volume. So unless you wait and then mute it, it then has some feedback. So it always leads to a little longer pause than I would like. But and I guess it's this time of year as we are at the longest Shabbat of the year, or not the latest Shabbat of the year. The length of the Shabbat is the same all the time. It's just the latest sunset, that I guess tomorrow, as I'm waiting for Shabbat to end, it'll feel like another long pause. So part of Shabbat is getting used to and being comfortable, with taking that extra time to pause, to reflect, and to be together as a community. And so we will feel the joy of being together with the community by singing together. And so we'll begin with Yedid Nefesh. And of course, if there's an issue with the sound, just put something in the chat, and I may not do much, but it's good to know. We'll begin with Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh Shabbat Shalom and welcome. So as we're taking a moment to pause to think about all that we've accomplished this past week, we do so to create that separation between the busyness of the week and into Shabbat, where we're able to relax and focus simply on being. And so as we then think about something that we're grateful for from this past week, we use it to bring ourselves to a place of giving thanks with L'chu Neranenah. L'chu Neranenah l'Adonai, Navia l'Torishenu. L'chu Neranenah l'Adonai, Navia l'Torishenu. Nekadma Panav B'Torah, Yizmerat Navia lo. Nekadma Panav B'Torah, Yizmerat Navia lo. This week, after the last week of having to move our summer social inside because of the unsettled nature of the weather, this week, as we are having a very beautiful weather, we'll continue with Yismechu Hashamayim, being able to sort of feel the joy that comes with such beautiful weather. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Iram hayam, Iram hayam, Iram hayam u'melah. Iram hayam, Iram hayam, Iram hayam. So next, we'll continue with Or Zarua Latzadik. Or Zarua Latzadik, Uleitre Letzimcha. Or Zarua Latzadik, Uleitre Letzimcha. Simchu Tzadikim Adonai, Lehodu Lezecher Kodsho. Simchu tzadikim Adonai, Behodu lezecher kodsho. We'll now continue as we rise for Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nenim, Havu l'Adonai kavod ha'od, Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Yishacharu l'Adonai be'arat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod yirim, Adonai mayim alim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behava, Kol Adonai shover arazim, V'shaver Adonai et hazeh-havanon, V'yakidem kemo egem Lebanon, Kesirion, kemo, 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 Kenemim, Kol Adonai chotef lamodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai mibakadesh, Kol Adonai yechol elayavon, vayefeso ye'avon, ye'avon, u'hechalo, kulo, 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 omekavo, Adonai la'amato yashav, vayesher Adonai malach le'olam, Adonai yod ve'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'asham. You may be seated. We'll continue. Welcome the presence of Shabbat with L'cha Dodi.
לעשות מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה
Sorry, 1 second, trying to change melody here. Okay.
מקדש מלך ילמדו חכו מצי.
Wait, sorry, I also need the words. Okay.
מקדש מלך ילמדו חכו מצי מתוך ההפיכה חדך שמתיים מקבך וכו יחמו עלייך חמלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת נקבלה.
Sorry, this is really embarrassing. I don't know where my...
והיו עם שיסה שוסייך ורחקו פה בבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהי כבשוס חתן הקלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על ידי שתי פרצי ונשלחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת נקבלה.
We rise and face our entrances.
אוי ושלום נתרת קבלה גם בשמחה ובצלה תוך אמונה גם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת נקבלה.
Thank you for your patience. It's proof that even when you say something many, many times, it's not always perfectly in your head, and that's why, even sometimes you always, it's never a bad thing to need the words in front of you. So we'll continue now with Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Melech Adam Lechol HaShalom. Ki Ata Melech Adam Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
So Shabbat Shalom, good evening, everyone. And so as Ashley and I are starting to do more of the wedding planning, one of the questions is what's the sort of aesthetic of our wedding? And, Ashley has a very clear vision that it's going to be, very much a forest aesthetic, which on the one hand, is not too different in the way that, of course, often, I think natural settings, have this inspiration of love. Of course, we associate many weddings with having flowers, but we are able to, I think, sense a little bit of a difference. That when you compare, say, a forest to a garden, a garden is going to be very ordered. Flowers are going to be in rows. Things are going to be very organized. Where in a forest, or perhaps a more less cultivated setting, that things grow on their own, and obviously the way nature grows will follow certain patterns. You get groves because the way that the tops of trees, block out the sun for a lot of the underbrush, which makes, especially old growth forests so pleasant, that you see how in some ways those natural forces create a little bit of unevenness, that it has that sort of more of a organic sense to it. And so using that difference, I think we're able to think a little bit about what is Judaism's aesthetic. Because in this week's Torah reading, Baha'alotcha, we read this description of the way that they needed to make trumpets out of hammered silver that then were blown during many of the rituals within the Mishkan. At the same time, the language that it uses to describe the way that these trumpets were sounded is one that teaches us some of the details about the way we blow the shofar. Again, a trumpet, but one that is made of a natural animal horn. And so on Rosh Hashanah. And so we're able to see, I think this difference between the sort of trumpet, or the silver trumpet, which is going to be this, very man-made object, and the shofar, which still requires human work, but ultimately was shaped by nature. And so in the sort of book of modern midrashim that's geared for children called Does God Have a Big Toe? That does have one story where it's really asking then what is going to be the trumpet that the Jews will use for all of their times. And it describes how this character named Enoch, who I don't believe appears in any traditional midrashim, continues to look for different instruments, trying a harp, trying, a drum, and trying a trumpet that, he made out of metal. And each time, God is unsatisfied until finally he comes with the ram's horn, where God, in seeing the way that it was shaped by nature, and that it was really finding that sense of a human partnership, finally is satisfied and says that that will be the trumpet for the Jews for all time. And so the author of that story, I think, is tapping into the idea that sometimes within Judaism, of course, there are going to be things that are well ordered, but also that there's, I think, the desire of letting things to develop naturally and on their own. And we can see that in different parts of the aesthetic. That, of course, we do have the shofar, of having it be something that is shaped by nature. But we see that in a few other places. That following the tradition, that you weren't supposed to essentially use tools of war to make holy spaces, that describes how the ancient altars for the Israelites were made of stones that were essentially found in their natural state. There's a more complicated story about how there needed to be a magic worm to correctly cut the stones for the first temple, but that's its own legend, but one that wanted it to essentially be able to find nature as it was, to then fit into a way that we build it. Similarly, when you look in some of the details about essentially, what someone is supposed to look like on Shabbat, there's a very clear sense that, of course, we're supposed to save many of our nicest things for Shabbat. But when you look at some of the rules around, what you can do with your hair, with makeup, with some of the clothes that you would wear, that even as it's trying to be something that's very nice, there's also supposed to be something that's relaxed and more organic. So I hope that each of us, as we're experiencing the little bit of a heat wave, nothing near what the rest of the continent is feeling, perhaps today and tomorrow, hopefully much cooler on Sunday, that we're able to find that sense of relaxation within ourselves, to be able to have it be a Shabbat Shalom, and a Shabbat where we're able to essentially let ourselves just go a little bit more with the flow. So with that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And of course, even as we're fortunate that we're able to relax here, of course, we also take time to remember the hostages who are continued to be held in Gaza, praying for their swift release. So we continue with the prayer, Achenu.
Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael. Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael. Anatunim betzava ubashivya. Haomnim bayam uben bayabasha. Hamakom Yerachem, Alehem ve'yotziah Yitzhaka Livracha U'mefel aleora Yeshivu Migela Hashta Bagala U'rizman Karim.
And we'll continue with Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, for both physical and spiritual healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha V'imotenu May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Yesheberach imotenu mekor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema.
This week in our Har'el community, we're remembering Golda Ostroff, mother of Adele Cohen, Dora Furman, mother-in-law of Patricia Furman, Charles Krangle, father-in-law of Lorna Krangle, Cecilia Bernstein, mother of Susan Hilton, Karl Budlowski, father of Sasha Budlowski, Sam Medzen, father of Sharon Promislow, Nathan Yuspe, father of Albert Yuspe, and Nathan Moses, father of Karen Shalansky. We pray that their memory may be for a blessing. We continue singing Oseh Shalom to evoke the end of Mourner's Kaddish.
Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Ve'imeru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imeru, V'imeru, Amen.
So once again, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for joining. Tomorrow, services will be in the sanctuary at 10 a.m. And this week, Kiddush is sponsored by Joanne and Rick Brown in memory of Joanne's parents, Nettie and Fred Gottfried, Marianne Siegel in memory of her husband, George Siegel, and Alana Levitin in memory of her father, Yitzhak Achron. And then the rallies to call for release of the hostages continue Sundays at 2 p.m. in front of the Art Gallery. And we are continuing to ask for people to sign up to express their interest about volunteering at the kitchen, helping with events like seniors lunches and our Shabbat dinners. So the link to that went out in Har'el this week, or you can send me an email before Tuesday. I'll be on vacation for a few weeks, and then we'll get things together when I get back, or maybe someone else will take it over and deal with it while I'm gone, or be able to sort of have the first organizational meeting when I'm gone. But looking further ahead, registration for Hebrew School is open for next year. And of the upcoming events, we'll have Har'el Hikers on Tuesday, July 9th at 10 a.m., which will be to the Cypress Pop-Up Village and Trestle Bridge. So being able to go through the forest and sort of see the new walking bridge that they have there. As well as our next seniors lunch will be Wednesday, July 17th at noon with Cynthia Ramsey and Pat Johnson from the Jewish Independent talking about covering community, the challenges and opportunities of Jewish journalism. And the registration for that will close the week before, so Wednesday, July 10th at 7 p.m. And as always, we're encouraging people to sign up sooner rather than later, so if you're planning to go, please do that now. So Shabbat Shalom, and we'll finish with our grape juice and challah, continuing with Vishamra.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Beinu u'bein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Oti le'olam Oti le'olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Shabbat V'dorotam Berit Olam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. So I'll step aside to wash my hands. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. So Shabbat Shalom, thank you for joining. I'll end the live stream and unmute everyone here in the Zoom room.